Hi guys, welcome to another Qashqai video. Today's a little bit exciting for me as such, a bit sad I know, but we are finally going to fix these things. Now you may have seen in my previous video about my bottom 5 Qashqai features, the rear interior lights on the Qashqai and I believe on other Nissans of a similar era, so your Jukes, your Novaras, your Notes, etc, they have this same issue. The rear interior lights, these ones with the little switch on one side, there's a long shape, part number something, I'll perhaps put it in the description if it means anything, but these interior lights are rubbish, to keep it clean. What it is, the switch is just made really badly. So what we're going to get on today is a fix, a really simple fix. It only requires a few bits. It does need a soldering iron though, unless you can think of another way of attaching a wire to a metal part, I don't know. But yeah, we're going to crack on with that. But as ever guys, I want to say a massive thank you to my members first. They are Shane Cook, Darren Lynch and Aina Lund. You guys are awesome. If you did want to join them and get videos like this 24 hours before everyone else, and shout outs in videos and much more, just check out the join button below and see what membership options are available for you. But for now, let's get on, get these fixed and let's get some light in the back of our cars again. So quite simply, I've already done this on my first one because I don't want to do this video and it not actually work and just be a complete waste of time. This is what we're aiming to get, if the camera focuses. There we go. It's a bit crude, but it does the job. You can see this is the interior light. I've taken it apart. Don't worry, I'm going to show you every step in a second. What we're aiming to do is jump the connection between that pin there and that pin there. Basically, the center, you've got 3 pins that come in. This is where the plug of the car's electric loom goes in. The 3 pins. The middle pin is your constant live. That goes straight to this guy here, which goes straight onto the bulb. You can see through there. And then the other 2 pins, they go around the outside to the switch, which is broken. In this case, you can see here it is. It is rubbish. There's the ball bearing that goes with it. And yeah, it goes to that switch. That switch then tells it to either be on all the time or be on when the door opens. One of these pins is the signal from the door open, and one is the constant live or constant negative. Not too certain. But yeah, we just need to jump the 2 cables and it will work again. This will save us a lot of money because I know that scrappies are aware of this issue and they charge around about £30 to £40 per one to replace it. So yeah, you can see there's been a bit of nibbling. I've been trying to work out how to take it apart, but I'm going to show you that now. So I'm going to put that to the side. So here is what you should have once you remove yours from the car. I'm not going to show you how to remove them from the car because it's not too difficult. Let's say this is in the roof. All you need to do is get your finger on the side opposite to the switch and you can just pull it out and it pops out. It's only held in by these 2 metal clips each side. They're just push metal clips. It's not hard to pull out with your fingers. At worst, maybe get a pry tool up there on each side to pull it out. But that's how you take that out. Once it's out, you're going to need a very small head screwdriver, and there's a tiny little screw up here, look. You can excuse the focusing. So yeah, I just need to undo this screw. There we go. And once that's out, we'll put that safely to the side. And then what there is there's 1, 2, 3, 4 little clips that need to pop off. And this little guy here, which is actually quite useful for pushing. Sometimes you can use that, but if not, we'll use a pry tool or a minus edge screwdriver. There is a little gap on each side, just here. You can just see the little cutout where you can get your screwdriver in it and just run it along the outside to those clips. They pop open. To the other side, pops open. Once 2 are open, it pretty much just falls out itself. So that's that out of the way, that's the lens out of the way. There's your bulb inside. Obviously check your bulb isn't broken because you may actually have an absolutely fine unit. So this is the point where you could check your bulb. In fact, you could probably check it from the other side. You can see that filament, I think they call them, is complete. If you've got one of those that's broken, it's not a complete line you can see inside the bulb, then that's a sign that your bulb is broken. So yeah, my bulb though is okay. So to release the bulb, you can see you've got this little angled piece of metal here. I'll just turn it over and give it a little squeeze, and out comes the bulb. So we've now got the unit. Now I, in the past, have played with this switch, and my switch is now completely dead. You can see it doesn't actually have any click anymore. It just sort of sits. And because we're going to bypass this, it's probably important that we keep this in decent tack. Obviously it won't have any function anymore, but otherwise you will end up with just a hole like that one. I'm going to put this one back before before it goes back in the car. So that's that bit out. Next up, like I say, we need to turn it over, and we've got the different points of contact. So move those out of the way. This is where we need to get our soldering iron warming up. So I'll just get mine on. Right, so what we need to be doing, like in this one, we just need to be bridging those connections. Now I've got a piece of wire here, you know, wire you can get from anywhere, you know, DIY shops, your B&Qs, obviously online you can get it. The wire that I'm using is actually copper wire, and the reason I'm using it is because it's really, what's the word? Is it malleable? Is that the word? Basically, it holds its shape. So as you bend it, obviously we're going to bend it into a U shape. As you bend it, it will hold that U shape. Let's use the focus again. But yeah, you can see, look, it's not going to be like a normal wire. For example, my big box of wires. If I used wire like this, for example, which is a lot thicker, if I bend it to a U shape, it just goes back again. It won't hold its shape, which makes it really hard to solder and get into that right position. So once I've got my little U shape, obviously I need to cut out, I cut little bits off the ends to get the wire on show, which I will do now. So there we go. We've got a little piece of wire with the two pieces open on each end. This wire, I would say, is probably about an inch, maybe just over an inch long, maybe an inch and a half. Obviously you don't want it very long because you don't want it to be all coiling up and maybe catching all the bits of contact. So we just need to make sure it's long enough that we can make a nice U shape out of it, which I'll do now. Again, let's use the focus. There we go. So there's the U shape. And what we need to do, so this is the bit where we need to get it right, because one of these wires, one of these connections is constantly on. One of them is the door open. We want it on the door open, obviously, although we're going to have a lot of flat batteries and stuff like that. You're going to lose the functionality of being able to just turn your light on as and when you need it, but this is a pretty simple fix, just to get it so it comes on and off with the doors, which is the most useful point, you know, late at night in the dark. You can't see in the back at the moment. So yeah, so this is the way we need it round. You can see each one, you can just see it if you use the screwdriver. You can see R, and on this one we've got L. So obviously that's the left and the right, as you're sitting in the back. So this is the left as in behind the passenger seat, this is the right as in behind the driver's seat. So I'm hoping that they wire them up the same. This is going to be a bit of a, let's see if this works or not, because obviously that's identical now, but in the car they'll be like that. So I'm going to guess they make the units pretty much the same, but then they just flip around the electrics. We'll guess. If it doesn't work, we'll come back and we'll resolder it the right way round. I'll put a little message below right now to say whether I got it right or not. If I got it wrong, then you know that we actually need to attach it to the other port. So yeah, we've got the soldering iron is nice and warmed up. We've already got the solder in place from the factory fit, which is these little mounds here. They're a little bit rusty, which is interesting, but I can't see any water ingress in the top of the car, so maybe it's just that the solder itself has rusted over time. So the first thing we're going to do, like I say, get our soldering iron. It's going to be interesting to see if I can do this on camera. Now, excuse my soldering iron, it's terrible. I've literally just ordered a new one from Amazon because this one is long gone. You can see it's got a lot of crap built up on the end of it. But it still just about works, so we're going to use it, and then I'm afraid it's going to go in the bin, so this is its last job. So we're going to start with the top one and get a piece of wire to that, and then we're going to do the second one down. Now what I'm going to try and do for you is zoom in so that you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. But it's pretty simple. We want to solder the top one, this one here, and the middle one. That's where our jumper is going to go between those two. So that's why it's important getting that U shape first. There we go. And what I'm going to use, because this is going to get warm obviously with the soldering iron, is I'm going to use a long nose plier to hold the wire. There we go. And then we just need to line it up with those two that we've got. Just these, and we need to melt some of the solder. It's already on there. Not helpful, is there? The light's trying to move around. This is a terrible soldering iron now, bless it. It's had its best years, that's for sure. That's one. You're probably shouting at me here, telling me my soldering is terrible and I'm using it wrong, which I probably am. It's been a long time. There we go. So zoomed back out. That's stuck together now. Let's have a quick look. There you go, you can laugh at my soldering now. But obviously the main thing is that the wire is in place on both of them and the two terminals aren't touching, which they're not. So that's it. That should be a working light. What I'm going to do now is pop down to the car, make sure I have wired it the right way around, and if I haven't, we will desolder it and solder it the right way around. So that was the right way around. Brilliant. So here is what you need to know then, because I had to work this out myself, but you're watching this as a guide. So on the right hand side one, so the one with the R, you need to use the terminal that is on the side with the up arrow. See the up arrow just here? You need to do the top terminal to middle, and that's on your right hand side one behind the driver's seat. In the UK, in Europe it'll be behind the passenger seat. And then on the other one, excuse me, you need to do it, so this is the left, you need to do it to the middle one and to the terminal where the L is. This is upside down at the moment. So where the L is, you can see just here. You need to go to that side terminal, and that works. So guys, I am literally over the moon. So let's get this back together. We're getting both back together. So like I said, the switches now are going to be a little bit pointless. They're almost going to be there for show, so we'll just pop that switch just back in, and there we go. It's not sitting very well. It's stuff out of it. Let's go with, there we go, that's sitting better now. You may need, if yours is as broken as mine, you may need a little bit of glue or something to get these to stay in, because there's nothing holding them in, they'll just fall straight out of these. But let's get them back together. So pop the caps back on it, line up that stick there with the hole, push it in, and then pops back on all the way around. Make sure all those clips have gone back in. That's one, and then same again with this guy. There it goes. Obviously guys, I will be doing an LED upgrade of these. I just don't happen to have these bulbs right now. I will put a link to the, well, no, I'll do a separate video because it's easier rather than having people having to go through this whole video to find out how to upgrade the LEDs. I'll do a separate video where I'll upgrade them to LED, so they'll be a lot brighter and nicer because they're a bit yellowy at the moment, but they do the job for now. But yeah, so once those are back on, obviously it's just those two little screws into that little hole there. It's a little bit fiddly, and I have actually almost stripped the head off one of these screws. I'm sure I could get some replacements easy though. Always worth having a magnetic screwdriver. Super useful for jobs like this. There we go. So that just makes sure that this head, the top lens stays on. That's one. Don't know where I've put the screw for the other one. There it is. So yeah, use of a magnetic screwdriver. You put the screw onto the screwdriver, and it should, he says, stay on the screwdriver, so you can line it up with the hole, and it goes straight in. There we go. So that is it. There are two fixed as such. Interior light units. What I am going to do, and this is definitely a very good idea, is I'm going to get some electrical tape. And it'll do, you know, this sort of stuff. You get all sorts of colours. I happen to have brown with me today. It's an exciting colour. And I'm going to just put a bit of tape over that end part just to protect it from making any contact, because we don't know that when we push it up into the top of the car, we don't know if that's actually going to touch anything, because obviously we've now got a bit of raised wire as such. So I'm just going to put that over there like that, just a bit of protection for it. That's one. And two. So yeah, we don't want it to be shorting out anywhere. We don't want it to be, you know, making any connection with any part of the car. It shouldn't be, because obviously that could be a hazard. And that's how it's going to sit. I know, you know, you're not going to see that when it's in the car anyway. So let's go pop them back in the car, and love the fact that I've got lights back in the rear of the car. So back in the car now, and simple case of plugging them back in. Obviously you've got the left and right on the car, so we're going to put the left on the left side of the car. Plug sticking out, the plug only goes in one way, and obviously as soon as I plug it in, it's going to light up because the doors are open. Put that back in there. Pops back in, and what you're going to see now is I'm going to shut the door, lock the car, and it's magically going to go out like a light should do. So yeah, great. We'll get this one put on the driver's side, and that is a job done, guys. As usual, thank you ever so much for watching. Thanks ever so much to my members, and if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so, and liking the video helps me a great deal. But for now, thanks a lot, and I'll see you in the next video. Hi guys, just a little ending to this video. I just thought I'd point out a couple of things. One, you're working with electronics, so just do be very, very careful what you're doing. You know, ideally you should disconnect the battery first, but it is a plug, so you know, just make sure you keep your fingers away from any of the connections that you put in there. And also I was thinking, soldering irons aren't really a common DIY thing. You've got your hammers, you've got your saws, you've got your screwdrivers, but not many people have soldering irons. So I am willing to help people out. If you did want me to do this fix for you and you want to send me your interior lights, it's something I'm willing to do for people. You just got to realise that I'm not a pro, I'm not a technician. I will do exactly what you've seen in the video to yours and send them back to you. If it's something you'd like me to do, then if you drop me an email to the address that's in the description, and we can get something sorted out. All right, see you soon.